there is kind of this positive asymmetric position. So you have facilitators who will give the space to the people to provide their inputs and their opinions. But on the other side, if you are a facilitator of the process, you need to facilitate it. You need to actually to put them in that direction that you actually need in a positive way. So it is really like a very important to have that kind of again like a skilled people and people who will know not to go in some debate with the people, but to actually to give them a right direction related to the goal that they have. So it is like in a teaching process, it is like in a workshops when you organize. This is also something which is really important if you are facilitating the participation processes in that way. That's why the public hearings, at least in Serbia, I think that it's the less productive way of consultations with the people, because usually they are not facilitated in the right way, usually. So you have like a people and then you present whatever and then you ask them, okay, what are your suggestions, what do you think? And usually it's starting with a lot of arguments and you know, disagreements, personal issues and that kind of stuff. That's why we are talking about the meaningful participation. So if you are consult with the people, if you have a final version, you will call that presentation and nothing else. So, and if you want to incorporate their inputs, you will call that kind of consultation. So if you have a space for incorporating the comments, that will be the other option. But sometimes you are right. Sometimes it's just to present, which is okay. You know, it is not obligatory that you. It's better not to have participatory process than to have a fake one. So if you don't have a time, if you finish the document and whatever, from the political reasons, from the resource lack of resources or whatever, it's better not to have it than to have it like a. It's absolutely legitimate to have like a just to provide something to the people and to present your idea on that level. So it's something that you should decide, and the government be aware, or also not to organize some fake participatory processes. When we mentioned all of this, I would just like to raise that, as I mentioned, the situation on the level of the European Union is actually very similar. So we have, and tomorrow we will discuss more about some good examples of the different mechanisms and tools that they are using in different countries, European countries. And when we are talking about the whole concept of participation and civil participation, the similar problems are something that the European Union also facing. So what was some kind of history of civic participation and at the European level? So Council of Europe provided a consultative status for NGOs in 1952, but participatory status in 2003. So pretty much late from that position. The problem at the European level, Union, is also like a lack of mechanism for representation, lack of information for the member states and from the local NGOs, how they can participate and how they can be involved in the processes, lack of consultations within the different processes and at a different level of the strategizing, and of course a lack of connection with the major institutions and Parliament, European Parliament, who can be actually dedicated to provide open the space for the participation in greater level. So one good from the 2001, some kind of changes started to happen in the European Union, and then it was some some meeting and conference in this Belgian town Laken, whatever. And after that, the white paper was provided, and that was a actually good step for the situation on civil society and how they can be involved in different processes. One of the really like a good step was this inclusion of Article 47 in the Constitutional Treaty in 2005, which actually defined that the European institutions and different institutions should involve civil society organizations in a different way in their activities, in the processes of consultations, in the different processes. But that was actually included in this Article 47. That was a big success for the civil society organizations, but you know that after that, for these constitutions, it was this French and Netherlands no to the constitution, and the situation didn't improve in that moment in that way. So after that document, actually, and after that article, which is something which is very important, some initiatives was also actually initiated at the European level. And as I already mentioned, some research that's done from civil society, EU Civil Society Contact Group, actually some main findings of this research was that I already raised that questions, but the clear findings was that there is no clear definition in European Union about the civil society organizations, that it's obvious that we have an imbalance between institutions and throughout the policy areas, and that we have this soft framework at European level, which means that we don't have any key, something which is obligatory at the European level, which is important for the civil society organization and participation and civil participation within the different institutions on the national level and European level. So we still don't have that kind of a key related to the civil society organizations related to that. Also, some findings from that research was like this, that, as I mentioned, that it's a lack of representation criteria, which is mean that it's really like hard to identify, to inform, and to involve people from civil society organizations who can really represent the national contexts and be respectful organizations at their national level. It's a variety of different organizations and variety of different activities that they are providing, that it's really like a wide definition of civil society, and that all of that factors actually are something which are really challenging for how to provide a space for kind of inclusive approach, and how to actually strengthen the trust and mutual understanding between the institutions and between the citizens. Also, the level of coordination is poor and is still poor, and that's the level of coordination is also something which is important for the national and local contexts, and we are facing that every day in our joint work. From that research, some of the recommendations was actually related to all of these obstacles that I already show you. But it was obvious that at the European level, it is really necessary to provide opportunity for a better definition of what the civil society is, to provide the better coordination mechanisms, to provide some kind of guidelines for which kind of tools and mechanisms you can use. And as I said, there are no recipe for successful civil participation, but at least some kind of agreement that, and collect all of different experiences from different countries and to try to find some kind of suggestions for the countries what they can use if they are organized participatory processes. So after this 2005 and this famous constitution problems and everything, the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe actually continued to try to find a way for civic participation, and they started with some conference or during some conferences discussion about this, how to put in one document some kind of manual, some kind of instructions for the national contexts and for the European member countries, which they can use and how they can promote in a significant degree like a citizen participation. And they started actually to discuss, to organize, and to provide this code of good practice, which we have a representative here, Emina, was involved in that process. So I think that it will be interesting just to hear a few words about the process from the first, from somebody who was involved, then to mention all of these different kind of activities related to that. What is important is that Emina mentioned is that, of course, this code is not mandatory for the countries, and they actually said that it is for the wide, not just for the officials, but at the EU level. It is the document which can be used at the national level as a recommendation to the national governments, which can be develop that kind of mechanisms and promote that kind of concept at the national level, which is also important. One more time, just to go back on what is defined, of course, in this code of good practice, is why the active role of NGO is so important. We already mentioned most of these topics, but with the involvement of NGOs, we actually have opportunity to increase the knowledge and skills in the country, because you are aware that the civil society organizations and their members sometimes are more skilled in some new way of thinking or equipped with the new skills, because they had the opportunity to go through different capacity building programs and to have different kind of understanding of some processes. Also, it is important because we have opportunity to have this independent expertise. If we ensure the quality control of the expertise, it's a perfect resource for the country, because they will have some different views and again additional and new resources which might be very important. If we are talking about the connection with the decision makers, this is the only opportunity actually to ensure this connection with the real people, with the constituency. That's why the role of civil society organization is really important. It is impossible to expect from the ministries, from the government, to be completely aware of the problems or needs or whatever of the real people. Of course, that their obligation is to provide good policies to solve different problems, but it is unrealistic to expect that they will have that kind of insight, because usually they are not going on the local level, they are not going and talk with the people, and it is impossible to actually to